Hello, and welcome to Relatable Bitches Podcast. I'm your host, Heinna.
And I'm your host, Marj. We're so excited to have you here with us today.
This is the space where we will dive into all the messy, beautiful, and totally relatable aspects of life. From family and friends to career struggles and everything in between. We're here to keep it real and have some fun.
That's right. Our goal is to create a community where we can laugh, cry, and feel understood. So grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and let's get into today's episode. Any personal stories or experiences shared on this podcast are unique to the individuals involved and should not be considered universal or applicable to all situations. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Relatable Bitches podcast. I'm your host, Marj.
And I'm Heinna. Sorry.
So, we're having a bit of a giggly moment today.
Yes.
So today we're talking about all things feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah. Oh,
Something that I think that most people feel on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
I could be completely lying about that. Most people could be completely chill, and it's just me.
Same. It's funny. I never felt peace until not so couple of months ago. And I was scared of it. I was like, where did this peace come over? Because it's new, right? I've always been on high alert about a lot of things, whether it's, especially when I had kids, but it was just one of those things that was like part of my everyday thing where it was just like something happened. I was like, something happened. I'm like, and I've gone through where it was just like, I ended up overwhelming myself to burn out, and it was a lot of things that I didn't know that I was doing to myself. When like I was saying a couple episodes back, it was like when I was talking about 2025, and then I started doing that pity party of like, oh my gosh, everything's open. Oh my gosh, everything's happened. Not realizing I'm like, you're having a pity party. Half of those things did happen to me. I think about it now and reflect, was out of my own actions. It was never anything where, it wasn't half was other people, but half was me. But the overwhelm was really just my own overwhelm, and it escalated the situation that should have not. And look, I take full responsibility for my part. Other people should take responsibility for theirs. No, I'm just kidding. But guys,
wink, nudge.
Who's ever watching this? Just like start blinking everywhere. No, but I think that's what it is.
If you are watching this on YouTube, or you go back to watch it on YouTube, I am not having a fit on camera.
You're right.
I'm just trying to wink.
People are like,
I can't wink.
Oh, really?
My other eye wants to try and do what the other one is doing. Like,
I didn't know. I didn't know that. Well, I guess it is. That's how. I'm telling you, you're going to get screenshots of people that like, look what they're doing.
No, and that's exactly right. But now try do it with your mouth open. I can do it when I try and I can't do it with my mouth. Like, my eyes just both want to close. But if I go and I open my mouth, somehow one eye can close.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, okay, yeah. But it's easier with the one with them. Oh my God. We were going to be like, screenshot. Those either having little episodes. They're having little episodes in their episode. Oh, I didn't know. I'll tell you, I'm going to practice that now. Thanks. I'm brushing my teeth later. I'm like, my kids are like, what are you doing?
I just snorted.
I'm telling you, people are going to go, what are you guys doing? And like, this is us not overwhelmed at the moment. We could laugh about it. Oh my God, that's so funny. Yeah, okay. Now, can you do one eyebrow up, one eyebrow down? I'm sorry. Now we got to test our facial. I can't. I can never.
No, I can expressing this part of my face is really expressive. This part of my face, so upper part of my face, like nose up, is the eyebrows can just randomly do things.
Yeah.
The lower part, my mouth, generally does the opposite to what my brain is thinking. So when people say to me, it's like, your words don't match your face, that's what they mean.
Mhm.
Because I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry.
You're
Not
smiling.
realizing, like, and I'm smiling. It's not, I'm not happy.
Yeah,
I'm just smiling.
yeah.
Because trust me when I say just because I'm smiling, it does not in any way,
Yeah.
shape, or form mean that I'm happy at that point in time.
Yeah. I think it's just, again, like a self.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah. Well, like it's a self, like react. What is that called? Like, why can't I think of the word? Like you're protecting yourself. So it's like a reactional, I don't know, call it, but
Yeah. I know
yeah.
what you mean. It's like like my body kind of goes into autopilot.
Yeah.
So, there are times where it's like, my husband will be like, is everything all right? You're a bit quiet tonight. You're this and that. I'm like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
really tell your face that.
Oh, yes. And
And
you're
then
like, oh, sorry.
and then I find myself like,
Is it groping now? You get so self-conscious. And I'm like,
grouchy.
right. Of course,
And
my
I'm like,
face.
okay, stretch. We don't, no crease lines, no crease lines. We're going to stretch the face, no crease.
Yeah, drying.
But
It's
yeah,
sorry.
because I will have like an angry look on my face or a concentration face on
Yeah.
when I'm doing nothing.
Yeah. Because sometimes I
And
feel
he always
like,
has to tell me, it's like, the things don't match.
yeah. Do you feel like you're going through like a lot? I don't want to say that you're la la, but like, do you feel like you're going to la la land when you're thinking of other things? So I don't know, maybe your face is resting, like just naturally, like, because you're thinking about other things. Well, obviously,
Oh,
you're still,
100.
that's what I would say.
Yeah, I would have to say 100%.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different things that are going on. It's like my facial expression could probably be something that's in the back of my head, not what
Yeah.
I'm currently thinking about. And
Same,
I don't
same.
even realize that that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Same. Because even like, I remember with my friends, they'd be like, don't look like that. And I'm just like, what? Like, I'm just literally, I'm thinking in my brain. I'm not thinking about anything which is sad, right? In a sense, I'm not thinking about anything, right? I'm just thinking what's happening in my brain. And they're like, yeah, but
Yeah.
you're like upset. And I was like, I'm not. Which is funny enough, right? Like, we've talked about this where if there's ever an emergency, I laugh. Like, I nervously, like, I just, because I have nothing
Yeah.
else to it's a coping mechanism. There you go. It's my coping mechanism. I just start laughing. So when like things have happened, I just start laughing. People are like, why are you laughing? And I'm like, I don't know, maybe because that's a coping mechanism. I'm usually, again, back to the overwhelm.
Yeah.
I'm so used to this like high tense situation that when that's happening, it's just kind of like a natural reaction, that's what people are like.
Yeah.
'Cause usually people would be like, oh, that. And I'm like, maybe because I'm like that
But
all the time. When something crazy happens, I'm like, huh, natural. Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah. But that's a natural human reaction. It's like laughing when you get embarrassed
Totally.
about something.
Yeah.
Have you seen, I'm assuming you've watched Bondi Rescue at some point.
Yeah.
When, might get cancelled at this one. When one of the Asian people are drowning, because that's every single episode, unfortunately, and they get pulled out 100% of the time when they're trying to, like, when the lifeguard is trying to ask them questions, they're laughing.
Yeah.
And the lifeguard's actually trying to make sure they didn't swallow water because they could go home and die in their sleep.
Yeah, correct.
And they're laughing. And it's purely from embarrassment, shock. Their body just goes into that mode. It is a human sort of reaction.
Yeah. It's when my old coworker that's the reason I actually watched this show. It's because he drowned and he was on the show. And I was laughing. I was like, what is this? And he's from England, right? So I was like, oh no, like, but that was like his first, I don't know if it was his first time in Bondi, but I couldn't stop laughing. I was like, how embarrassing. I'm like, oh no. He's like, yeah, he was like, we could pull that at one time, but it was really funny. But I think you're right. Because to me, I laugh. I will never forget. It was like my first, it was one of my first jobs in this, in a it was in a cafe. And this lady walked in and she just fainted, fell on the ground. And I'm one of the heads there. And obviously when that happens, you have to take, incident report. I could not the whole time. I was just laughing. I had to hide under the counter and contain myself. And it wasn't I was making fun of her, but I was just so nervous because like, oh my gosh, we got to do an incident report. Like we got to get the footage and da, 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 da. And I was only like 16. I was freaking out and I was just laughing. I was just hilariously laughing. So
when I see somebody fall, my maturity level goes down to about the age of 2.5-year-old.
I think he's like, I'm laughing about it now because I can imagine her just like, when I was like,
okay. I once went flying into the air. I was holding 2 pizzas, wearing thongs, so-called flip-flops for everyone else, thongs in Australia. I was wearing my thongs. I'd walked in, touched the tile floor, legs in the air. I went flying, smacked back down to the floor. Pizzas everywhere. Now, my boyfriend at the time, who is my darling husband now, do you think he asked, do you need help? Do you think he picked me up off the ground? Do you think he was to have been any help whatsoever while I have a bruised tailbone on the floor, on a tiled floor, dying from pain, laughing at myself because hilarious. It literally looked like something drawn from a cartoon.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Literally, my legs went over my head. It was hilarious.
Was this like at the restaurant itself or?
No. This was back home. Like when we got back home. So his family was in like the living room waiting for us and me freaking pizzas everywhere on the floor. Well, anyway, Carlo is standing on top of me. Laughing hysterically. Cannot get words out how hard he was laughing. Also a man that laughed at his mum for falling into a cactus. He woke up. He heard his like moaning and groaning like somebody being in pain. And he had slept in because he had gone out like drinking the night before. He gets up, walks outside to find his mum in a cactus, fully in the cactus, could not get up. He didn't even help her. He was laughing so hysterically, he could not help her out of the cactus plant.
Oh my gosh. Oh, same. Oh, I can't even. Those are the things.
Hawaii. I almost broke my nose by walking into a door, and this mofo was laughing hysterically, almost peeing his pants. And he's the one that closed the door behind me.
Oh, no. You're like, oh, my God. See, I can't. I'm not good in situations. Like,
I'm no bueno.
Yeah.
No bueno. Again, I literally revert to a 2-year-old. It's bad.
Yeah. And I really think it's because we're so high tested with things when do happen. That's revert. Because this is another story. Well, excuse me. This was another story where my dad just passed. Went back to America. That was my first time back when it was during, I was like right towards the end of COVID. And my cousin took me out to the beach. And she's like, you need to refresh because tomorrow's a big day. Like, and I said, cool. Like, let's go. But we were sitting there getting clam chowder. And like, my dad loves clam chowder. My dad loves the beach. And I start like remembering him. Right. And instead of like normal people would cry, I was crying and laughing. So we're in the middle of this like little mini chowder shop and I'm crying and laughing hysterically. And people were like, what is happening? And then my friend was laughing because he's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I miss my dad, but I'm crying and laughing. And then we go outside and my cousin gets cheese with the dogs. And she's like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? And I literally almost fell to the ground laughing. And people were like, what is going on? And then they were like, I couldn't get my words out. Like the clam chowder, the beach. I was just, again, I think it was that overwhelming. It was just, I couldn't stop laughing. We were in front of the store for like, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And people were just staring at us like, what is happening? Like, they probably thought we were on drugs because they were just like, what is going on? But I couldn't stop laughing. I literally couldn't stop crying. And that was it. It just was just like everything was coming out. And I think that's what it is. When you go through, like, you see something, you just kind of like, I guess that again, it's that reaction. It's that coping mechanism that you have.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, no saying, I totally get it. Oh, but she doesn't, what you're telling me now, I can't stop laughing because I can just imagine, like the cactus things.
if I was to pull my husband in here right now and start telling this story, he will be pissing himself laughing from the second that I say Hawaii and door. Because he remembers the image. He remembers my nose print in the door. He remembers me telling him that he better hope that my nose isn't broken because he's not flying back home. They will never find his body again. I was like, we're in Hawaii now. I get to go home.
Right. You know what? You just reminded me when you were telling me about the church where he pushed you. That's why when you said that, that's all I can think of. Because I remember, I was like, oh, I just went to this church. And you're like, oh, there's this church. And I was like, oh, no. It's funny because I went to Central the other day and I saw that church and I started laughing. I was like, oh, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. So for all our listeners out there, when I met my darling boyfriend, my now husband, we went into Sydney CBD, the city.
Yeah.
And we were walking past this church that is like, smack, bang right in the middle of the city near Central.
Yeah.
And as we were walking past, I was on, my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time, my husband now, but he was walking on the outside on the street side and I was walking on the inside, like the actual store side. And as we were walking past the actual church, he just subtly, with one hand just pushed like my shoulder. Didn't even push. It was not a hard push. It wasn't like a, double-handed launch or anything like that. It was just a one hand, like shoulder, wasn't expecting it. I was in La La Land, walking, minding my own business. And all of a sudden, like, I just went flying in through these church doors, caught my balance and stuff. Yeah. And what were the words that came out of his mouth? I just wanted to see what would happen. With the full expectation of me going up in flames like a vampire.
No. Oh my God, that's so funny. That's the thing I get. Like with situations like that, you just laugh. Like, I mean, I'm sure he meant it obviously in a joking way. It's nothing like that.
It was mucking around. Like we were purely joking. There was no
correct.
We weren't, but he wasn't being serious. Like, oh, I think you're a witch. I need to work out and determine. This isn't supernatural over here.
Right.
No. He's not freaking throwing like holy water on me trying to get the demon out.
Yeah.
No, that's embedded deep inside. You can't get that out with holy water.
Say that. But that's what I mean. I think it's just funny, like situations you just love
play with these things.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Like there was, I know that there are some women that would actually take that sort of stuff really seriously.
No, I think it's hilarious.
No, like we're mucking around. Like, some of the stuff that I say to him, it's, it's just us mucking around. It's the banter that we have. I wouldn't want it in a sort of serious manner. Like if he wasn't joking, I would know that he's not joking.
Yeah. Correct.
But yeah, it just, kind of went to prove that like our banter was really on the same page to begin with.
Yeah, and you laugh about it. As I say, I think it's just funny. Like a lot of us, in a sense, are just like, we use humor a lot. When it's fine. Again, obviously, in good humor. But that's just a lot of people, because again, for me, when I get overwhelmed, I just laugh. I just literally I can't stop.
Tell ridiculous jokes. I become like Chandler and Friends.
Yeah.
They're not even funny jokes, but they're just random things.
Like
I'm like,
jokes?
Like,
yeah.
Or I find myself to be really funny.
Yeah.
And, I usually get the comment of, well, at least you find yourself funny. That's the most important.
Right. I do.
You know what? I do.
Yeah. I really do. That's why you're just like,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but there's like so many different situations, like being on this topic, there are so many different situations of being overwhelmed. I woke up this morning after a long weekend and I felt overwhelmed, having my morning coffee thinking, crap, I've got back-to-back meetings today. I've still got to edit a podcast. I've still got to do like all these other things. Like there's so much more. I've still got meetings this afternoon. I've still got other things happening. It's like, oh crap. After a long weekend, it was like that overwhelming of, oh crap, now I've got 4 days to finish what I would usually do in 5.
Yeah. Correct. And you're like, oh, I gotta do 20 things.
As I started doing the tasks, obviously that overwhelmment left my body, but it still occurred, even though I knew that it's not like I have anything due. I don't have assignments due or anything like that. It's not like I need to be stressed out that it's like, damn it, I have so much
Right.
going on.
Yeah.
No, like everything's under control. Like,
Yeah.
everything has a rhyme and a reason, a place, all that sort
Yeah.
of stuff. And I started as I started doing this, I'm like, okay, well, everything's on track, everything's going,
Yeah.
to plan. All right, I
Yeah.
don't need to be overwhelmed about this.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
then,
Yep. Yep.
and then
Yep.
my brain goes, oh, but what about the rest of the week?
But that's, I think it's just more
And I
on
go for my
ourselves, right?
little, and I'll have like
Yeah.
my little moment again of like, oh God, okay. All right. Yeah, there's a lot coming up during the week. And I'll
Yeah.
feel that little moment of overwhelmment. And then as my brain processes what's actually to come, be like, nope, I've still got my lunch breaks in there. I've still got, enough time to travel between meetings. I've still got, like, everything is under control.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Last Friday, I was feeling overwhelmed because I decided to forget that I had an appointment, forget that I had a 10 a.m. meeting, forget that I had an 11 a.m. meeting because I was thinking everything was happening at a 10:30, 11:30 interval.
Love it. Love it. Yes. Oh,
So I had to text you and I'm like, I'm going to be late because I'm going to be late to this. And that's also going to make me run late to the next thing.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
my overwhelmment in that scenario was I'm letting other people down because now I'm
Yeah.
having to push them out of the way. And I was like, oh crap, like I hope, maybe I can finish
Yeah.
this 10 minutes early and I can start catching up on this. So my overwhelmment was I don't want to let other people down because I've made, deadlines and cancellation, like, everything's set. So there are different forms of feeling really, really, overwhelmed
Yeah.
about different things.
Yeah.
I'd mentioned to a friend a couple of months ago, he asked me for some stuff. I, sent everything over to him and he like called me in a panic because it's like, when he actually needed it, it wasn't there. And he was like so overwhelmed. He started making himself sick over it. And it's like, okay, hold on, calm down. This is the time that I sent it. This is the day that I sent it. Go to your emails on that day. Do a search for that day, and I was kind of walking him through it on the phone and he started calming down, just realizing, okay, like, it's like we almost make ourselves panic over things that we have absolutely no control over
Overthinking. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because we're overthinking it.
Yeah.
As soon as he found it, he was like, oh my God, it was right in front of me the whole time. And it's like, yeah, because we stop seeing things when we're overwhelmed. When I get overwhelmed, I start stuttering. Or I forget, not necessarily stuttering, but I'll forget words.
Yeah. 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 Correct.
And my brain has to think about what the word is. It's like, I speak English. I should know the damn word. The words should be easy. They should come to my brain.
Yeah.
But then the brain shorts and it doesn't communicate with this thing that speaks. A couple of weeks ago when we were having problems like with my dog and had to get it to the vet, urgently, I was like stressed out, really overwhelmed, super stressed. I'm like, God, this is going to be a lot of money. Especially if she requires like these surgeries and stuff like that. It's going to like, oh my God. I forgot how to talk. Like Carla was saying things to me and I was like, and he just stare at me. I'm like, did anything come out? He's like, gibberish.
Right. Speaking in tongues. Nice.
What am I trying to say? And I would like have to really just stop and really think about what I was trying to say because the word, like my brain and the words were not coming together. It was like pure gibberish. Every time I opened my mouth and tried to say something about, the leashes or whatever, it's just like I'd have to physically stop myself. Like, that's not freaking right.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's like, it just completely off. Like, it's amazing what our bodies and, the fact that we can't concentrate and we can't do all these other things because of, feeling overwhelmed about something.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Do you, somebody had once told me that they feel like sort of clouded. Like it's like it's like brain fog. I personally don't really get brain fog. I just go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like a brain fart more than a brain fog.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because everything could be normal, then random, God knows
Blow
what's
up.
just happened.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Sam, like it really highlighted when I was thinking of like reflecting on 2024, mainly because I looked at like how did that happen from here, And then there was a
Yeah.
section from September of 2023 till about, I would say, February of 2024 that I reflected back and I go, oh my gosh, that happened. Or, oh my goodness, I did that. And I was like, I don't even remember how that happened. Because somebody asked me a question like, oh, what happened when you found out about this? And I was like, oh, I forgot that I did that. I forgot that I even reacted like that. And I went to work that day, like, because I had like this temp job thing that I did, right? In between when I first came back here. I did this temp job, which is like a 1 month thing. And I was like, cool, like, then this will help us since we just got back. Like, the kids are doing. And I forgot that I did that. I even forgot that I did that day. And it was just because I
Yeah.
was so overwhelmed, really, from that stage to that stage where I was like, I was so clouded. Like you said, I was so clouded. Because thinking about it now, I'm like, what in my right mind did I do? Or how did I become like? And it was like
Yeah.
looking at it into like a reflection of like, how can that person, and then again, I was just running on, empty. So I don't sound that I
Yeah.
blame myself or upset about it. It was just like, oh, I really see how much unclear I was at that stage and how much
Yeah.
I only saw tunnel vision of my own stuff and, like that. And it was because I was overwhelmed. And then again, I think that's why, things that we talked about, why coming back to things and I'm like, why did I put myself in that? Because that is I guess it is that is my safe zone. I was feeling safe in being in that overwhelmed stage that when I hit that piece, like during October of last year, you didn't even, I think that was the start of me going, oh my goodness, like there is a peace, there is a
Yeah.
certain thing, but I'm not used to that. Like, how can peace be scary? Like, how can peace be something that I don't recognize? Or how can like stillness and slowness? Because people were like saying to me, they were like, what do you want to do today? And I was like, I want to do this, 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 and this. And they're like, where and how, what time do you want to do that? And I was like, I don't know, just gotta do it. Which like obviously there's things that you have to take action on, but it was just in my mind, I always had to be on like high alert. And then I'd burn myself out and then I don't do
Yeah.
this. And I didn't realize that was like a problem. Not a problem, but more like something that I guess I just didn't recognize. I'm so used to that. So I'll
Yeah.
never forget. I stood there in the kitchen, standing there and just like with this blank face. And they were like, again, same thing like you were saying, right? Like I was thinking and they were like, what are you doing? Like, why are you just standing there? And I was like, I've never felt this peace before. Like I've never felt this still or like this calm or like this place of like, there's peace,
Yeah.
And because I was always overwhelmed. I am always overwhelmed. And from that, I think that's when I was like, okay, there is a place that I can be at. Again, it's just, I don't know. I didn't know that I could, honestly. And
Yeah.
now that's my main thing for this evening. Finding that place of just like, if this is just going to bring me peaceful, going back to the values of what I want to do, because feeling overwhelmed has been I should say, people are like, have a year, a word for the year. That should be my my word of the decade of these past 10 years, because even realizing now, like I've been in Australia for almost 9 years this year. And looking back into when we first moved here, I was like, my goodness, like I don't even remember going through those things. And I was just in go, go, go mode, and
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy the things that were happening around, I didn't enjoy, because even now thinking about it, like going back to the state, I didn't enjoy half of the things that I was doing because, yeah, I was just on survival mode. And so now it's just like actually appreciating things, like being grateful about the things that are going on. It's such a different feeling. Definitely not used to it. I'm always like, let's do this. This back piece and just focusing on the things that need to be done has been such a, also, I mean, in a sense, overwhelming too, because I was like, wow, never thought that this is peace, So
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
And that journey of peace, well, one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that it's not something that you find and necessarily keep.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's like different things will give you the same reaction because as you evolve, different things will do that for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some people find it's like meditation is their, zen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then after some time, it's like, poetry might be it, or writing, or this.
Yeah.
Like it can evolve. Like it doesn't just have to be the one thing that
Mm.
brings you peace. It's like,
Forever, yeah.
reading a book.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's one thing that brings me peace.
Yeah.
I just
I
chill.
read. Yeah, I read. I've never read so much in my life than I've had these past 2 months. And you know me, I was telling you, remember when you were telling me like, oh, I love to read. I was like, oh, I don't even remember what book I've been reading. I understand, like, I never understood the piece in reading or like why people like reading. And I was like, now I do. And I was like,
I'm currently reading Catherine's poetry book.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I downloaded it on my Amazon account, so I'm just getting through that at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't understand that reading was like a good thing, because I was always like, I'm too tired, or like I always put negative on reading, or like you have to be smart. Like only smart people read. Like I don't read, like that was my thing against it. And that's again because I didn't have that clarity of like what reading can be. Again, look, I'm not saying I'm like a advocate reader. I'm not going to read like 100, like 50 books. I'm pretty sure maybe in my whole entire lifetime, but not like in a short amount of time. I just know that there's certain things that really give me that peace when it comes to reading.
Yeah, look, reading can be really daunting when you have any form of dyslexia.
Yeah, but I think that's what it is. I think us in everybody's brain and everybody's way of like coping with certain things is different, and that goes for for good things, bad things, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Are you loving the Relatable Bitches podcast? If so, make sure you follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn, and to get all the updates on when the new episode drops.
You get overwhelmed as your brain also do instead of the number 1, it's I won, like winning, won.
Yeah.
You came first.
Yeah.
My brain.
No, just I think with all of us, we just have to just understand like what are the kinks and whistles that we have with, I don't know why I said kinks and whistles, kinks that we have within ourselves, and like kind of just learn like different ways, like what we're doing, right? Like kind of different little tips and tricks for our own self that works better to get us kind of through that. Because a lot of people, even in school, right? They're just like, oh, you're wrong. It's like, no, that's just literally how my brain is functioning. And that I've really been seeing that with my overwhelm as well. 'Cause it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's just how I'm function. That's how I function. So it's not that I'm stupid or I'm dumb or whatever it may be. It's just my brain functions a lot differently than others.
Yeah.
So, especially now with technology.
Yeah. No, it's so true. I find that the more sort of when I get overwhelmed, I make more mistakes. I do things the wrong, I'll write things incorrectly. I make the mistakes that I don't when I'm just chill.
Yeah, correct.
Relax and not overthinking anything.
Yes, correct.
So I do tend to make a lot more mistakes. I was walking in the city one day. I had a meeting. I was, I was in La La Land because I was I was a little bit stressed about how that meeting was going to go.
Yeah.
And I was like working myself up a little bit, and I went into La La Land. I stepped right into an alleyway while a vehicle was pulling out of the alleyway.
No.
That was 100% my fault.
Yeah.
I did not look. I didn't realize that I was in an alleyway. My brain was like, I'm on a footpath.
Yeah.
Like, not the footpath ended. You're going to cross the street and get onto the footpath again.
Yeah.
And that was purely like brain dead.
Yeah.
Like it just wasn't processing. And I was apologizing to the lady. I was like, I'm so sorry, because I know that she would have, been mortified if she hit me. It was a scary moment.
Yeah.
And you kind of know those back streets. So the buildings are really close to the road.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So there's a lot of blind spots and things like that. So luckily she was going slow enough that she broke just in time. But I did jump back as well. Like it was really close, really close. And that made me even worse for my meeting.
Yeah, because you were
I was more shook up.
Adrenaline. Yeah.
So as you can imagine, that entire meeting was me fumbling over my words. Couldn't find the words that I was looking for. Like could not. I must have sounded so dumb during that meeting. Don't get me wrong. I still got the job. Still got the contract.
Yeah.
But it was very much like I was so aware of how much I messed. Like I didn't perform that day because of what, because of my own overwhelming and all the rest
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
that I made sure that it's like every single conversation, every email, everything that I was like precise. I was on point. I'm not talking to these people if I didn't sleep properly the night before because I can't afford to make that. I needed it to be like, okay, that was a bad day.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're few and far between when we all know they're a bit more closer together than.
Yeah. You start doubting, but at the same time, it's like, it's not really, it's not your knowledge. It is that it's the overwhelm.
Exactly. Once if I do, have a moment, it's like, dyslexia playing up again. Like I can make fun, I can joke around about it so I don't get that overwhelming sensation of, oh shit, did I just look like an idiot?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's kind of like that's where it's like I needed to be more authentically myself because I am one that laughs at myself. I do, take the piss out of myself. I do joke a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I going into these corporate meetings and I have to be all serious and I have to be?
Yeah.
I don't. Because guess what? I can make the people laugh across from me. We can have a banter. We can have a conversation, deal with work, do business. And it doesn't have to be all serious. We're not a bunch of like 80-year-old white men sitting around bloody boardroom. We've got personalities. Like we need to bring them out.
Yes. Yeah. No, exactly. And I used to always be scared of that because, I'm sure you understand, like we're more witty than the norms and the people that come in, like, and that was a really big thing for me. Every time I'd go to a job or anything that the big things that the big things that I thought would be right, I'd always get so overwhelmed saying. And I think now as we've gone through life and everything, what do you feel or what do you believe has helped you kind of like, not that you're like 100% good, that you don't get worried or overwhelmed anymore or anything like that, but what has helped you really just like step back and be like, okay, this feeling is just overwhelmed. It's not actually a fact that I'm not, like that I'm not capable or that I'm not able to do this, but it's more just your overwhelmed.
Boundaries.
Yes.
I just started setting boundaries everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I used to get a lot of people coming to me as like, oh, okay, if my entire calendar was booked out and I only had a lunch break, they'd be like, oh, but can we just meet at 12? Back then it would be like, oh, okay, yeah. And I would start getting overwhelmed because now I'm not having lunch. I'm not eating properly.
Okay.
I'm not sleep. Like, it was getting too much. It would get too much where it's like when I start setting boundaries, it's like, oh, can we meet at 12? No, I'm busy.
Yeah.
This is my availability.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
We can meet at 2 o'clock. We can meet at 11. We can meet at this time. Take it or leave it. Oh, no, those times don't work for me. So the day after, this is my availability.
I think a lot of people forget.
No
It's the
more
same
of
with me.
you just call me whenever you want.
Yeah. And I'm sure
Clients,
you know this.
They can text me and things.
Yeah.
That's fine, but I'm not going to respond then and there willy-nilly.
Yeah.
If I'm in a meeting, you are not my only client.
Yeah.
So if I'm in a meeting with a client and you're calling me and I don't answer, there's a reason for it. I'll call you back.
Yeah. Unless you're dying, which I'm sure no one's dying. Yeah.
If somebody's dying, I am not. You don't call your project manager.
Call Triple's here.
You don't call. Yeah, I'm like, dial 000. Call your doctor. Call your mother.
Yeah.
The she cares more than what I do.
Yeah.
Call your wife. Call your partner. Like, I don't care who you call, just not me in an emergency.
Yeah. Correct.
I am not the one
nothing is that serious. Yeah.
If
No,
it's
for
business
sure.
related to my business, let's talk. But otherwise, there's no need for it.
Yeah.
And if you require something so urgent, you can also send me an email and mark it high importance.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
I will still see it.
Yeah. And I
send me a text message going, urgent, please call me.
Right.
And a brief description. I will,
Yeah. We'll call you when I can. I think it's that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like we are not family, so I don't have to destroy my life to make you happy.
Yeah.
You're
for sure.
client. This is business. At the end of the day, And this is the best part. It's like, if I was to ask any of these people that did do that to me, it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize that you answered your phone at midnight for clients. Oh, but I
Yeah.
don't. So why would I?
Yeah, correct. Not correct.
Oh, do you work for free? Do you get freebie? Like, do you give people freebies when it comes to their finance, when it comes to their legal fees, when it comes to their accounting? No. So why would I give you free shit?
Yeah, I'm learning that for sure. Yeah.
So they're things that people, once upon a time, I would allow people to get to me and make me overwhelmed because they'd be like,
Yeah.
I want. And I would feel like I had to give.
Yeah, correct.
But once those boundaries were set, it was like everyone just kind of went, okay, I can, for one, people started taking me actually a lot more serious.
Yes. Is that
Because no, I'm not your PA. I am not here to your beck and call.
Yes, correct.
And then there was the sort of other factor to that of, you don't have to be doing everything to everybody else's timetable. Like, at the end of the day, I have my business because I know what my capabilities are. And if you could do it yourself, you wouldn't have hired me.
Thank you. No, hands down. No, thank you.
And if you do it yourself, then why haven't you?
Thank you. Wow, I had to learn that. Yeah. No, thank you for sure. Yeah.
But there was that appreciation of actually understanding my worth and going, you know what? I have the knowledge. I have the capacity. I have the,
Yeah.
So why am I allowing people to walk all over me? Why am I allowing people to, to do all these other things when I don't need to? I've got full control. How we said before, it's like sometimes we get overwhelmed because of things that aren't in our control.
Correct.
There are also things that we can take control of, like setting boundaries. And that was one of the things that really took away a lot of my, a lot of me feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Now it's like, now my overwhelmment is like pockets. Like I said this morning, until I started processing and realizing, hold on, my day's fine. Like everything, I've got all the work ready to go. It's sorted. What am I stressing out? So it was like a little pocket. It was like a 10-minute interval of, oh crap, there's so much to do. I've got back-to-back meetings. I've got this. I've got that. I've got this. I've got that. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Like, hold on. But I've already done most of it. Most of the stuff I just have to type up and put in an email, or I have to click a button, or it's like, okay, why am I stressing? And then there's the other side of, people where they try and take advantage of you. You don't know how to deal with that. And you make yourself overwhelmed because, like, you want to set boundaries, but you don't want to upset anybody. You don't want to, get under it. You don't want to lose a contract. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. It's like, now I'm like, all right. And somebody says, you're going to lose my contract. I'll be like, not a problem. Here's your exit fees.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's more of, that Mel Robbins is about let them. Like, I've been thinking about that a lot because in my brain, it's just like, I never knew really, honestly, even how much I knew until people were asking me questions. And I was like, to me, I was like, oh, that's easy. Like, that's fine. And I was like, oh my goodness, like they actually do need me more than I need them because I was asked to do something. I was like, oh, that takes me like 15 minutes. Or like, oh, that's cool because it usually takes me an hour. And I was like, okay, well, then you still need to pay me for the hour because that's hour worth of work that I did in 15 minutes. And I've done, and it's funny because I used to think, I will never forget this lady told me that. She goes, something that'll take me 15 minutes to do took me 16 years to learn, or whatever she said. She goes, so I'm still going to get paid for the hour. And in my brain, I was like, oh my God, what a B word, like just, only do that. But I realized more and more, I'm like, this is why we've hired this lady because she can get it done in 15 minutes. I don't have to be the one to sit in there trying to figure out for an hour or two. And this is why we need things fast, results and fast. And I come to find, which is like, there's things that I get overwhelmed of, and there's people that I could do that people don't, or vice versa, whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. Like, I really realized that. And I've come to the point where it's just like, where the overwhelm comes in is that because you're right, not putting that boundaries. So I'm glad that you shared that because I think a lot of us, especially our listeners, will see that case where it's just like, it's really boundaries. And I never understood what boundaries were until I actually started setting them. And that goes for like, not just in business, but like even with my family,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh, yeah. Weird. Yeah, definitely. Boundaries have to be set absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
Are you loving the Relatable Bitches podcast? If so, make sure you follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. and to get all the updates on when the new episode drops.
It's going to get me wound up. I was watching the whole thing with the Menendez brothers.
Oh.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So your parents doing something to you now gives you the excuse to just become a murderer?
Yeah.
Because there are plenty of people that go through shit every single day that don't.
Yep.
They don't go murder their parents. Guess what? They leave their family homes. They grow the hell up and they live their own lives.
Yeah.
You know, my husband didn't go and murder his parents after everything that they've done to him.
Yeah.
He just has nothing to do with them.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big one.
But no, let's go release a bunch of murderers onto the street again because they were abused as children.
But it's more, like I have so much to say on that because in my brain it's like doesn't fix again if there's mental stuff that they've been through, doesn't fix it. It's kind of like what's her name, that girl that murdered her mom, Gypsy
Rose.
Insane. Like look at like obviously you see what she did. Like it's like you're just gonna keep without fixing what's in there, whatever it may be, or things that need to be done. Like nothing is really going to change. And
all of them need to be in
psych
wards for the rest of their life. All of them need to be in psych wards for the rest of their life. No, but that's the legitimacy of it. If your brain was wired to think murder was acceptable, you are not well. Tell me that you think that murder is like, but they just went through some stuff. No, well, if you went through some stuff, go sort that stuff out for the rest of your life. Yeah, until we know that you actually can be back on the street and you're not going to do it again. When people go, but they had a terrible childhood. You know what? So have millions and millions and millions of other people in the world. Do you know what they don't do? They don't commit murder.
Yeah. You sort it out. Get help. Because you know why I have so much to feel and think about those two situations. Like I'm not saying that I've been through something very similar or that to that extent, but I feel like again, as you become older, especially even before, you see that it's like they had a chance, like they were seeing the outside world. It's not like again with Gypsy Rose one, you talk about that later on, but they both have seen the outside world. It's like easily walking away could have been, again, we could go on and on about this, but again, it's just, again, if you're overwhelmed, if you're feeling all of these things, like get help, figure it out. Don't just sit there and don't harbor it in and be like, it gives you an excuse to be an a-hole where it's like, no, it can't. Like what happened to me this weekend, this guy was just a total B-word. And then I realized when we found out that because his son died, I get that. I was like, I have people that are past and everything, but that doesn't give you an excuse to like be out and be not a good person or be a horrible person. Like like you said, sort yourself out. Especially if you're a full grown adult, like get yourself together. Like, so. Yeah. So
like, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of, for example, just completely random. It's not a true story, like fully hypothetical. But if my niece called me and said that her mum or dad were being abusive or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm the first one there. I'm the first one beating on my sister.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, that's me. I'm like, hell no.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to, it's that thing. It's like, so if you knew, so for, Menendez brother, if these families knew what was going on, you did nothing to protect these children. You were just as much as, you all deserve to be in jail.
Yes, I was thinking about that too. I was like, so
but the grandmother, you raised that motherfucker of a dad. You protected him.
Yeah.
You protected the son.
Yeah.
And now you're saying, but it's because they were, they were going through all this stuff as kids. It's like, they were also rich as hell. They could have found another method. They could have gotten help. They could have run away. Gypsy Rose, again, another situation where it's been proven time and time again that she could have gotten away. She could have called the police. She could have asked for help. She chose to go down the route that she did.
Yeah.
And she should rot in hell for it. I'm sorry, you going through something. Look, I was a young teenager when shit happened to me.
Yeah, same.
I didn't kill the person. They're still alive. Am I waiting for their death? Am I praying for it? Am I hoping for it? Yeah, I am. Am I going to dance on their grave once they die? Yes, I am. I got away. I left the area. I left the my family behind. It's like I don't need to be in the same room as that person anymore.
Yeah.
Like I can just wait for that person to die and I can mind my fucking business and live my life. Go on to therapy. Do you get what I mean? It's like there's other things that you can do instead of just blaming it on this one thing that happened in your life. It's like, in my circumstance, like I'm glad that it's like I worked out what it was that was bothering me from my childhood because I'd blocked so much of it out. It's like something was annoying me. I just didn't know what it was. It's like I fully blocked and it's like I don't know what it is anymore. It's like what is it? What is there?
Yeah. Because remember we were talking about when you're overwhelmed and when you're in that space, it's more of like it's clouded. You're in a space where you don't remember. Like it's things that happened at that time. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that did happen. Like, oh shoot, that did happen. And you don't even realize. Again, I didn't even realize until I was older when that guy was like, oh, that is that. I was like,
and this is the thing. Yeah, I do have the capability. Of, I can go to a gun range and apply for my gun license. I've got knives in my home. I've got fucking cooking utensils of all sorts. I could, so what? It's like, so if I was to go sneak down to to these people's home at nighttime while they're asleep, stab them to death or whatever, can I blame it on my childhood? Like sometimes it's like, you know what? Take responsibility for the fact that it's happened and now you have to take responsibility for the fact that now you have to cope with it. You have to find the tools to help you cope.
I have a question. Do you think with that, because it was pre-planned, right? Like you have to kind of see the difference also. It's like, and this is something that I was talking to my friend about, like,
but
that
all
was
of these
pre-planned. Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, it was pre-planned. It wasn't like, because people can't be like, oh, like
it's
you
not
said,
self-defense.
Yeah, correct. Because some people are like, oh, it's like, it was like, oh, what is it called?
There is a big difference. Yeah, there's a big difference between your domestic violence, abusive husband beating you to death and you finally snapping and you turning around with a knife and stabbing him to death. That's self-defense. You finally snapped. You were getting beat on. You grabbed what was close. That's self-defense. You planning and being like, we're going to wait till they go to sleep. We're going to slip something in their drinks, like, sleeping pills so they go to sleep and we make sure they don't hear any doors or anything like that. If you're planning with what weapons to use, what time, day, method of discarding things. No, you are done. You are done.
It's really premeditated.
I don't believe in capital punishment. So I'm just like, you deserve to be just left in jail. Like pedophiles should be left just to everybody.
Yeah.
Don't put them in solitary confinement. No. You put them in with the wider population that's in jail and let them sort it out amongst themselves.
Yeah. And I think
true survival of the fittest. The true Squid Games.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that sort of stuff. I don't agree with solitary confinement when it comes to child abuse and things like that.
Yeah. Do you think it's more because
all honest parents were abusing their children? I think that they would have had enough evidence that the parents could have been locked away forever for a very long time.
Yeah.
That's based on my knowledge, and I know a lot about that case.
Yeah.
I saw the entire first trial, so I saw all the evidence that came in. You can still actually go watch.
No, I guess. Do you think it's more of? Yeah, because I've seen, like, I think when that shirt came out, I watched and I was like, oh, it's funny. At first, I did so bad for them because I was like, oh no. But then when I I also like watch those things, and I don't go as deep as you for sure. But I saw some of it, and I was like, it was like one of those that moment, when you're like, oh, that was like interesting. That was like, because even like with this show, I was like, because it really painted out to all these things. And I was like, but then I watched, some of I watched the trial. I was like, literally, I was like, like, but then again, I wasn't there. I didn't watch every single thing, but from what I have gathered, of course, even with the media, they make it like, oh my God, poor thing, like, blah, 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 blah. And you're just like,
this is why I'm like, no, if you want to know what happened in the first trial and you want to see the evidence, go watch the trial.
Yeah.
Do not
believe
anything that the media put out.
Yeah. Because we were talking about it. Yeah. We were talking about it and he was just saying that, or this, and this. And like, yeah, because I think like you're right, like the media really has shown it in a different, like you said, it's a different light, but you really look at it and you're like, interesting. Like, I was like, oh my goodness. Because again, like there's certain things that I was like, oh my gosh, like, why would they do that? If this, you know what I mean? Like in my case, because they were older. And again, it was premeditated and then even after when they really did, like they were going to get all everything.
First thing that popped into my head is, what are these two idiots still living at home? They're fucking losers.
I mean, again, it is what it is. It goes to win it out. But
legitimately, they actually had enough money themselves that they could have purchased their own homes.
Yeah, and been
at that age. So why the hell were they still living with their abusive parents?
Yeah. Do you think so too? Because like, I guess in the sense, like they only know what they know, which is again fair enough. But then you kind of reach out to a point as you get older, and they've had people around them. It wasn't like they were like, the people.
But then
like,
why did everyone do that then?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But like, the people that are caged, they don't see the outside world. Like, okay, but fair enough. Like, obviously they don't know, but they were free. Like they were outside. Like he would have had a girlfriend. Like things were happening. Like there's people around them where they would have known right and wrong. You know what I mean? It wasn't like they were caged up. And
they all had the capability of going to the police.
Yeah.
Even in Gypsy Rose's situation, she had access to the freaking internet. Tell me that you can't contact the police. Are you serious?
Because that's how she met her boyfriend.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
Exactly. No. She wanted to kill her mother and she planned the death of her mother.
Yeah. Right. She did. She really good. That's like it. To me, it was like, like it's always that like, oh my goodness type of situation. And everybody has their own, everybody, whatever it may be, but coming in from, I guess, in the sense of like, kind of, which, again, I've watched a lot of this stuff on, I'm just kind of like, oh, like, it doesn't leave the right amount of, good taste in my mouth because I'm like, I understand the both sides and I understand the right and wrong. And I understand that people have gone through worse and even like date down to like the pit of the dirt. But they didn't do that. They literally, like you said, moved on with therapy, moved on with their life. They, created their own thing without having to resort for that. So
exactly. And that's, that's kind of where I was headed before when I said, so if you do kill somebody because that was your mentality of something was done to me, now I need to get the revenge, then you are not mentally capable to be out in public with the rest of the world.
Because there's also in the sense where it's like it's not like nothing bad's ever not going to happen to you, like with them as well. Like you don't know the things that can happen with them or the things that they can do. Because even now, like again, I was watching the Lifetime Gypsy Rose one, right, where she's like she hurt the other guy and then she wanted to go with the other guy and then she said this guy. It's like, see, it's like
we have no idea who her baby belongs to.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But do you know what I mean?
Like anyone willing to stick their dick in her needs to get a fucking mental health check as well. I swear. No, let's be real. Let's be real.
That's everybody has.
We need to unpack that one.
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
They both need help, But that's what I'm trying to say in a sense where it's just like I don't think she got the proper help to be like going back into sex because people that are not murderers that come out of jail. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But like those things that should have been kind of like, because again, people that have come out of jail, they have even if it wasn't murder, stuff like that, going back to society, going back to the real stuff, they also have a hard time. And that's a whole new perspective. And if they have this mental, capacity of it's okay to do the things that they've done, what makes you think that anything that ticks them off the next, again, that's just my, thing on it. Again, it wasn't because I've had, look, even in high school, right? There was this person in my school, like, they're family member was abusive to them. And same thing like you said, finally, it was like the last straw. And it didn't happen. It wasn't premeditated. It was just like, it was self-defense because they first had the weapon and they tried to get them. And then, they did what they did. And that's a whole different perspective because it's like, self-defense. Like, like they've been torturing them. And finally, it was like they had to defend themselves because it was either one or the other. You know what I mean?
It was like,
So,
it was that I'm going to die today if I don't defend myself today.
Yeah,
like,
correct. Yeah.
And your brain just goes through the process. That's a totally different.
And that's what I want to share with everybody here.
That's like the human, I need to survive.
Yeah,
it's the human instinct, I need to survive.
Yeah. Because if someone's coming at you with a knife or with a weapon.
No, that's completely different. That is very much, that is self-defense in every way that you look. That is and if in that sort of situation, no, I wouldn't say it's like, oh, but you should have gotten out. You should have left. No, because that's a different scenario.
Yeah.
When we're talking about, for example, these people that have actually convicted and that have had done it because of premeditation, it's like, Menendez, but they were freaking wealthy as. The boys had so much money in their own individual bank accounts that they shouldn't have been living there anymore. Gypsy Rose, it got proven time and time again that she had access to a phone, the internet, to all these different things. She had access to it all. So she got caught in a lie on top of lie on top of lie because she was saying, I couldn't get out.
Yeah.
And then all your messages with your boyfriend back and forth, literally talking about how they're going to get rid of the body.
Yeah. And I think another main big thing is just like, of course, when you're in a situation, we can have people go, well, if you're that in a situation, you wouldn't know. I understand that. But that's another reason. It's like, then they should get help because they don't know that they don't have the capacity to understand that there are other choices and then just that. Yeah. So that's when people are like, oh, well, you're not in that situation. You don't know. Like, it's hard to get out. Same. Like, I'm in a situation. I should have gone out years ago, but I also am not resulting to that. Like I know the difference between
right and wrong.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is what it is. I think with us, wrapping it up, it's just more like if you're overwhelmed, if you're in this place, like seek out for help, like there's people out there that do this. And I know it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. It's not something that you're, it's hard to be vulnerable when you're in the situation that you're overwhelmed and you only know what you know, but know that there is places out there that could, reach out to and get help.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And that wraps up another episode of the Relatable Bitches podcast.
Yes.
Have an amazing week, everyone. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, do all the social media things.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say. So it is, but it's
just like, subscribe, comment. There you go. All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. And that wraps up another episode of the Relatable Bitches podcast. We hope you enjoyed our chat today and found something that's resonated with you.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. It really helps us reach more relatable bitches like you.
And remember, you can connect with us on social media. All links are in the description.
Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep it real and stay relatable.